I'm going to be talking to you about ownership of your opportunity. It's easy to want something. You really, really want to be an owner in your heart? Yes. Can't hear a thing? Yes. Really, really? Yes. You really want to make lots of money? Yes. Really, really? Yes. Well, it's simple. Just take ownership. Very simple. Take ownership. And most of you don't know how to do that. Stand up if you want to win the lottery. Everybody who wants to win the lottery, stand up. Stand up. Come on, stand up. Everybody who wants to win the lottery. Let's see you. You all want to win the lottery. So you want it. You want it? You want it. Great. Fantastic. Okay. So everybody who did not buy a ticket this week, sit down. So, most of you want it, but you didn't take the action that is necessary to make it happen in your life. You notice how you do that all the time? We do that all the time. Write this down. Write it down. Wanting something is only 15%. That's all it is, 15%. Wanting something. I want to walk from here to the end of the stairs. 15% is nothing. Unless I do some action and I walk. There's some action. If I don't do the action, the wanting means nothing. Absolutely nothing. So wanting is 15%, but it's no good without the action. That's going to give you the 100% success. It's simple. Keep remembering that thing. I want it, but can I take the action? Let me very briefly take you through my story. Because some of you guys think that I just arrived here one day and everything was easy. It wasn't. Worked at Unilever in 1974. Couldn't stand the corporate. They were a good company, but just couldn't stand working for a boss. So I left there, became a brand manager, and went to Smith & Nephew, and I became the marketing manager there. And the same thing. I was bored, listening to other people, making them rich. So I went off on my own. Started a business called Colotel Electronics. And then some of you are going to look at that and say, what do you mean off the cliff, no skid marks? What does that mean? Well, it means when you're in that car that you saw a little bit earlier and you're going so fast that you go off the cliff, you haven't got time to put your foot on the brake. There's just no skid marks. You're gone. Same in the business. I didn't even know I was bankrupt. I was just gone. So it all started for me with Colotel Electronics. I sold that business for R1 to Control Logic. Okay, they made lots of money. They put the money in, they made lots of money. 6 months later, I couldn't stand working for them, so I left. Off the cliff. No skid marks, gone. Okay, Scandia Meats. Went and I worked my brains out. I used to get up at 3:30 every morning, go there, open this little meat factory, and eventually after 9 years of working in different companies, I took my first leave ever with Carol, my wife, and we went to Europe. Never had a day's leave before that. I'd taken long weekends and that was it. I came back and my beautiful, dear partner had sold the business. Wonderful. Off the cliff, no skid marks. Then I went sheep farming. You know why they call it takeaway farming? Because those guys can come along at night and they put the sheep into the corner and they just pick them up and go away with it. And that's what happened with me. So sheep farming, that didn't work, okay? Traded on the JSE at night. That didn't work. Traded property, that didn't work. All sorts of things. Sold t-shirts, by the way. Lots of t-shirts. You guys know Blue Diamond t-shirts? I used to sell them by the bale from China. R1 a t-shirt. In fact, about 98 cents in those days. Off the cliff, no skid marks. Then I tried to sell eggs. Branded them after my own name, Farmer Buck Eggs. Same problem, okay? Off the cliff, no skid marks. You're starting to get the pattern here a little bit, okay? Then, with my cousin Zulumis, we started Smith, Zulumis and Buchan here. But Smith and Zulumis and Joburg went bankrupt. Off the cliff, no skid marks. We sold that business to Bates Wells Rostron, R1. Okay? Some legal reason you have to do that. And eventually, that didn't work out. And I started an ad agency in 1984. And for the first time in my life, I really thought I was going to be successful. But I was drinking far too much, doing all the things that were sabotaging me. And in 1991, I sold that business to try and get my relationships and my mind right. And 1 year later, the guys supposed to pay me, they didn't pay me, they went bankrupt, and as a result, I was off the cliff, no skid marks. Started a company called Meal for Two. Can you see the pattern here? Can you see the pattern? In 1994, my right-hand man ran away with the only computer we had, and all of our customers, and in a year that we should have been making a lot of money, and I should have been very happy, and in a year, it was the greatest year in this country's history. It's when we got our freedom, the best year ever, 1994, I was finished. I was absolutely broken, and I was 45 years old. Nothing. And then things started to change. Started a company called Trade Firm. So what did I do? I got up again. We changed that name to Premier Growth. Today, that is the business that we are all so privileged to be a small part of, which is the Unlimited. How did I take ownership? I just got up. I just did it. But most importantly, all of those companies that I've been working for, look at them. Do you think it was my fault? Absolutely not. Not my fault. The bank wouldn't lend me money. The guy shouldn't have run away with my money. They didn't come to work on time. I was here early in the morning. You guys heard these stories before? Many, many times you've heard these stories. But in 1994, I learned something. What I learned was to take accountability. That for me to win, I had to first help you win. For me to win, I had to stop blaming anybody. For me to win, I couldn't be judgmental about anybody. And that was the beginning of possibly the toughest 6 years of my life. But I started with a dream. I had a dream to do something different. When you're 45, double the age of most of you in this room, it's not easy to start again. What is your dream? I had a dream in 94, an amazing dream. I'll share a little bit of that with you a little bit later. What is your dream? What is your real dream that's going to get you away from I want it to taking action and being completely successful in that space? You want the car? You've seen it a little bit earlier. You want the house? Yeah, you want it. I want it. I want it. Of course. Do you want the boat? Of course you want the boat. Wonderful. But then for me, the hard work and commitment really started in 94. I wanted all of those things. Mostly I just wanted to survive, to not have to take my children out of school, and to be able to pay the bond. And to be a father, and to be a husband. That was a massive driver for me. It's all I wanted. Can you work 100 hours a week for your dream? Most of you go into the field, you do your 15, 20 hours, you make a little bit of money, and you think you've arrived, but you still want the big stuff. You know the feeling? Didn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. I had to go out and start work every morning, 5 o'clock. I'd wake up, make porridge. That's all I had. Go off, and I sold products for other people. And we did well. I was making other people rich. And my partner ended up in America doing nothing. I was doing all the work. And one day I just said to him, hey, Lawrence, it doesn't work for me. It just does not work for me. And he just said to me, it's been a wonderful ride. Thanks very much. And I thought, my goodness, have you been so doof? And he sent me a letter to say that he handed a 50% of the business over to me, and I got 100% of the shares. And then I sat down with Carol, and for the first time in my life, she convinced me to not take another partner. And she said, just do this for you. You can do this. You can make this happen. And I was terrified. So frightened at times that I used to lie on the floor of my study, and I've shared this with some of you. I could not get up because of the fear. But I did get up. But can you work 100 hours? Because that was the start of my 100 hours. And after a while, we started to grow the business, but I wasn't making enough money. I couldn't survive. So I got into network marketing at night. My day would start at 5 and would end off most nights at about 10 o'clock. And I can remember driving at night, coming home, and I'd see, you know how when you drive past and you see the TV flickering in the windows? I'll never ever forget that. Because I used to sit driving there and I'd say to myself, you sitting on your bum watching TV, I've just made another sale tonight. And I'm going to be free, and you're still going to be sitting on your bum watching TV. But it did. So what are you going to do for your dream? I can remember in Cape Town, not a police station I don't know in the Western Cape, because we used to have to go and tell them that the guys are pitching tonight. I had no money. I used to get up, go to these cheap hotels, sneak in there and say, can I have breakfast? And I got to know them all so well, I used to get discounted breakfast. And I would eat. I would eat. Go to the office, do some paperwork. Morning started at 11 o'clock in those days because we were doing residential. And the big thing for me was to try to get to a 7-Eleven. The boys in Cape Town, the girls in Cape Town know what a 7-Eleven is. Close at 11 o'clock. I'd get in there and I'd buy a banana and a piece of fruit and a slab of chocolate. I know that dietitians will tell you don't do that, but man, I needed the energy. And I'd go to sleep on the floor, just had a mattress on the floor of this flat, nothing else, had a duvet. And it would start again the next day. Every day. 5 days a week, Saturday, Sunday, 7 days a week. 100 hours, sometimes 90 hours, sometimes 110 hours a week. Can you do that to one day come and stand here and tell us your story? And we've got some people here that we're going to acknowledge today who've done that because they've taken the wanting, they've turned it into action. But look at what holds us back. Can you see the money? The suitcase with all the money? That's what I want. I want the money. Right, let's go and get the money, honey. And we start to go to the money. We get to the money, and then what happens? Oh, baby, let's go and watch some TV. Okay. And then we back down here, and we're watching the TV. Then when we get bored with the TV and we say, I want the money. Oh, I want the money. Yeah, I want the money. And look what happens. Woo! Woo! Choo-choo. Whoa! Come. And then the next day, I look at the money. And I want the money. Hey. And then I start going, whoa! Not for me, for the girls. And then a little while later, I look at the money and I say, I want the money. Hey. Whoa. Come, Baba, come. You see how it works? And a little while later, I say, I want the money. And the next day, hey, I want the money. Not feeling so good. Then I look and I say, I want the money. But look what's keeping me back. Look at what's keeping me back all the time, keeping you back and being lazy. You want it, but are you going to take the action to get it? So how do I take ownership? So how do I take ownership? It all starts with a real, proper dream. You're going to hear that over and over again today and from Kevin. It starts with a dream, a real, proper dream. Not a wussy thing of I want it, followed by action. You have to put in the yards. If you want it, put in the action. My dream was to start a business based on love in 1994. We've done that. To put money into the environment, to put money into creches. We have 1,870 creches in this country as I speak to you now. I don't think there's anything like that anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. We're going to shift this country and we're going to shift this planet. But it starts with a dream followed by action. How do I take ownership? You've all seen this poster. It's in your office. There's the choice, right there behind me. That's your choice. Are you going above the line or are you going below the line? That is your choice. I own it. I own it. I do it. Nobody else. I do it. And I do it right now. When are you going to take a stand on your life and do it right now? Thank you very much.